Okay, number 1 says 33 s to the 5th. I didn't have to put my glasses on. T to the 4th. U to the 8th. And it says divided by 11 s t to the 3rd. U is at the 8th. U to the 8th. Okay, now the easiest way to do these, if you'll remember, divide is the same thing as that line in a fraction. So this will be the easiest way for you to do it, is to put that one on top, and this means divided by this line in a fraction. So we'll put this on the bottom, okay? This will make it so much easier. Okay. Now, we just do this in pieces because there is no plus or minus in here. Now, that's something you need to be aware of, because here in a little bit, we're going to work one that does have some pluses and minuses. They're done just a little bit differently. So since this has all multiply and it's divide, then you can just do this in pieces. So what we're going to do is look at the coefficients first and notice that it just creates a fraction, and we need to just simplify or reduce that fraction. And so we divide the top and the bottom by 11, and so this will be 3 over 1. Y'all see? Okay, now if you will remember your rules for dividing same bases, here are my S's. If I'm dividing same bases, my answer is going to be that base. And what do I do with the exponents? That's multiply. Subtract. I'm going to subtract the exponents. Now notice that this is 1 right here. And so I've got 5 minus 1. So now I have s to the 4th. Everybody okay with that? Let's look at the t's. T's are same bases. And so I've got t to the what? T to the 1st. Or you don't have to put it up there. And then one more. It'll be u to the 0, which means anything to the 0 power is strictly 1, not 1u. This is really confusing to some people. They think that if this and this cancel out, then I've just got a u. No, if you have a u, then that means u to the 1. You've got u to the 0. So the shortcut of thinking is if they're exactly the same, they're going to cancel out, and you don't have a u at all. Okay?
Okay.
And then when you look at your answer here, everything is over 1. None of these are in the denominator. And so if 1 is the only thing on the bottom, you don't need that 1.
Yeah.
So your answer will be 3s to the 4th t, invisible 1. Are we good?
Yes.
It's not that bad, huh? It's going to be a short lesson. It will be. And so everything on that page, page 10, is going to be exactly the same, but you guys pick out one more on there and let me work it for you, and then we'll go to the next page. We're dividing monomials.
How about 2?
2, okay. We'll do 2. Okay, that's great. I'm going to do a tad of a shortcut. I'm not going to write the division sign like it is on the paper. I'm just going to go ahead and write it like a fraction. Is that okay with y'all? You understand it? All right, and I'll show. What I'm going to do here is I won't be writing the divide sign. I'm going to go ahead and put this as a denominator. Okay, so here's number 2. And we've got 10 x y squared over, and it's in parentheses. You can put it in parentheses if you want. The reason it's in parentheses is to keep that negative from getting mixed up with the divide sign. So since it won't be by that divide sign anymore, you can take those parentheses off if you wish. 10. Okay. She already solved it. You little
No, I don't know if it's right or not.
No,
I think she did.
I don't know if it's
you're
right or
already
not.
a star.
Let me look on the back, make sure that it's right.
Mhm.
No, it's not right. Well,
You're just saying that.
well, it's because, so 5 will go, okay, so 5 will go into 10, 2 minus 2.
Yes, good.
And then this and this cancels out because it's just not
Absolutely.
going to. And this one too. So
Absolutely.
that's the answer.
I don't know
So
why
it's
you.
negative 2?
-2.
Negative 2.
Well, you still got it. I mean, you just erase the x, y, and 2. You still got 2.
Because 10
That's
divided by
negative.
-2, just make sure you don't forget your negative, okay?
Yeah.
Which makes a -2 over 1, and she doesn't need the 1
I'm
on the
gonna start
bottom.
calling her up.
I know. You guys get ready. I'm gonna pop you guys up here soon. So we're okay? Let's look at page 11. Okay, now on the page 10, all of these are like this. One thing I want to make sure before we go to page 11 is if this isn't 1, I'm just making this one up, but if you have x to the 4th over x to the 6th, remember, you don't just say 6 minus 4. You always have to subtract from the top down. So it's 4 minus 6. So when you come over here, and you'll probably see these sooner or later. If you come over here, it's same bases, right? And so we have this. But when we subtract, we get a -2, x to the -2. And if you'll remember our story about negative exponents, then that means this one has a negative record. We really want to try him on the other floor. Do you guys remember that? So we don't leave anything with negative exponents. We need to move him to the other floor and start him over with a clean slate. Okay? Now, if you had 1 on the bottom, we can ignore that. But if you're blank up here, you have to have a 1 in that place. You can't just ignore it. Everybody understand? You have to have the 1 here. Now, you guys like a shortcut, right?
Yes.
Okay, so what I say is if the top, here we go. If the top is smaller than the bottom, then this is what you can do. If you understand it, don't try to do this if you don't understand it. But this is a really good shortcut. Okay, so you're looking at the x's and you say, oh, this is going to come out negative. Well, instead of thinking negative, you can just say the difference between here is 2, right? Doesn't matter if it's negative or positive in my shortcut. The difference is 2. Now I'm going to put the answer where it's the largest. So I will immediately put the x2 here because this side is bigger. So you can just think, what is the difference here? And put the answer to this where the exponent's larger.
Only if,
Okay.
only if the bottom exponent is bigger than the top.
Well, it works the other way too. Like
Or
if I
it
have
doesn't. Okay.
if I have a to the 5th and a to the 2nd, then the difference between there's 3, right?
Yeah.
It doesn't matter if it's negative or positive. And then I put the answer to this where the exponent's the largest. So this one would go up here. because the exponent's the largest.
Oh, so wherever, so if it's the largest number, if it's on the bottom, it'll go on the bottom. If it's on the top, it'll go, always stay on the top.
Mhm.
Okay.
Or if you forget, you can do the negative exponent and move it. It's going to be the same answer.
That extra step.
Yes,
This is just a shortcut.
yes,
right?
yes. Good one. Okay, let's look at page 11. Are you okay with this too? Okay. I keep losing the rag. Did you use this morning? I thought so because I didn't think it'd still be wet from yesterday. Thank you for doing that. All right, page 11. Now the difference between the problems, oh my gosh, would you turn the heater down?
Yes.
Oh my heavens.
It gets hot. It gets cold.
I know. We can turn it back up when I'm done. But it's like dripping down my neck. Whew.
Okay.
All right, we're going to do, now number 1 on this page, if you look at number 1 on this page, it still doesn't have any pluses or minuses. So number 1 is going to be done exactly like page 9 or 10, okay? But then number 2 has some pluses and minuses. I want you to see how this works. Okay, Sherry and Shaniqua, I was telling them on page 11, this number 1 doesn't have any pluses or minuses in it. So it will be done exactly the same way as we just did on the board. But if you'll look at number 2, the difference here is it includes some pluses and minuses. And so we do this a tad bit differently. All right, not bad. Just one thing that you have to remember.
What are you looking?
Pardon?
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm talking.
Were you talking to me, Sherry?
No, ma'am. I'm sorry. Kenny had come back up and I didn't know what he was looking for.
Oh, okay, no problem. This is number 2. And it has a parentheses to tell you that we're going to have this whole polynomial divided by a monomial. So I've got to get my glasses. I can't see. I can't see those little exponents. I'm ready for my new glasses to come. These won't see them. All right. P to the 5th, Q to the 3rd, minus 4, P to the 4th, Q to the 2nd, plus 11 P Q divided by PQ. Okay, now when you have a whole polynomial here, and the only reason they did the parentheses is to make sure you know this is one full polynomial, and this whole thing will be divided by one monomial. So if you do that, when it's plus and minuses divided by a monomial, you have to divide each piece by the monomial, which will look like this. You will divide the first term by PQ, that PQ, divide the second term by PQ, and the third one by PQ. So now we don't need this because we divided each one of the terms in the polynomial time or divided by the monomial they gave us. If it has plus or minus, this is what we need to do. So you do each one of these separately. So we're going to find out what this one is first. And we know that this P right here has an invisible 1, and this one has an invisible 1 as the exponent. So let's look at the P's first. I have P to the 5th and P to the 1st. So what goes here? P to the 4th, but I'm not through until I do the Q also. Do the, okay, to the 2nd, that's good. And that one's done. Now remember to follow this. So I have a minus, and now I'm going to take care of this one. So I have a 4 divided by the invisible 1,
So you 3.
4, because it's divided, not minus, okay? And then we know invisible 1. So I've got P to the what? Third, and Q to the,
First.
so I'm not going to put the first on it, okay? Then plus, and this is 11 divided by the invisible 1, invisible 1, invisible 1, invisible 1, invisible 1. 11 divided by 1 is 11. And then this is exactly the same, so it cancels completely out to a 1. This cancels out completely, and here is your answer. Not bad at all, huh?
You don't have to put the P2 behind the 11.
No, because 1 minus 1 is 0, so I have 0 P's. 1 minus 1, I don't have any Q's either. So, and I could put times 1, but all of our 1s are invisible anyway. So, any questions on this one? Should I just,
Not at the moment.
do what?
Not at the moment.
Good. Let's look at 3 looks huge. You want to go ahead and do 3, or do you want to do 6 or 7, or what do you want to do? Pick one.
We could do 3, 6, and 7.
I heard number 3. Okay. Shaniqua and Sherry, are you okay with this new one with the pluses and minuses in it?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Good.
My internet's messing up, Miss Deborah, and so I've missed a lot of it because my computer kept freezing.
Yes, ma'am.
So I'll probably have to go back and watch it on YouTube.
That'll be fine. I think you will catch on pretty quickly. This is not a hard lesson.
Okay.
Okay?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So was it yesterday you were going to go look at a house again?
Yes, ma'am. We went and looked at a different house yesterday, and we got it. And so,
You saw it or you bought it?
well, we saw it and we rented it.
Oh,
So-
good.
So,
So you
we'll
didn't
be.
start packing up again?
Yes, actually, we had already started. I basically just have my kitchen left to do. So,
You're probably getting pretty good at it, aren't you?
yes, ma'am. I have lots of experience.
Oh, wait. Okay, this is number 3. -7, u to the 8th, b to the 4th, w plus u to the 4th, w, no, b, w to the 6th minus 8, u to the 5th, b to the 4th, w. And it says that this entire polynomial is going to be divided by u to the 4th, b, w. And we found out that if we have a polynomial that has all the adds and subtracts in it, and it's divided by one monomial, this monomial goes in underneath each one. Okay, so I'm going to write that under each one of these. I have u to the 4th, v, w, u to the 4th, vw, and u to the 4th, vw. So I put this under each piece. Okay. So when it's divided or separated by pluses and minuses, we're going to work each fraction separately. So here's this one. First of all, we deal with our coefficients. That's the big numbers. Have an invisible 1. So -7 divided by 1 is going to be a -7, correct? Then let's do the u's. U to the 4th and v to the 3rd.
3.
Good, I heard you guys online too. And w
Cancel out.
cancels out because it's to the 1st and to the 1st. And so it's not there. It cancels to a 1. And then the invisible coefficients, 1, we're going to leave it invisible, okay? 1 divided by 1. Okay, what about the u's? Cancels. What about the v's? And the w's?
5. W5. Or am I?
Ah, caught you.
Okay.
It's like Simon says. Simon says this, Simon says this,
Five.
this. Oh,
6 away.
1 w to the 5th. Now we have a minus. Invisible 1. 8 divided by 1 is 8. Divide, not minus.
U.
So 8. And then the u's. U to the 1st. So I'm going to leave the invisible 1 off. V,
3.
3rd, and W. Out. Now, the last thing that you need to do, I don't know if they're going to do this to you on this worksheet page, but get used to looking at your answer. And 2 things you need to do is look here and see if there's any common terms that we can combine. In this case, no. And then let's make sure that it's in standard form. Remember, standard form, we have to find the degree of each term and then put them in the correct order. So this one is 4 plus 3. This is a degree of 7. This is a degree of 5. And this is a degree of 4 because of the invisible 1. And so actually it is in standard form. Okay, any questions? This is it, guys. This is it for today.
Looks scary.
It looks scary, but then eating that elephant one little piece at a time, one little piece. You notice how we took this fraction and then we broke that fraction down and did just the coefficients, then just the u's. Y'all see?
Whenever you simplify it on the bottom, how did you get 3 for?
One more time, Shaniqua.
Whenever you simplify it on the bottom, how did you get the 3 on the top of the first one that you circled, the 7U4 V3?
This one?
Yes, ma'am.
How did I get the 7 or how did I get the 3?
How did you get the 7? Oh, never mind. I thought you said 3. My bad. I'm sorry. I can't see.
Right, we just add the degree, add the exponents together.
Okay, I thought you said 3. I'm sorry.
Okay. I could have, but the girls in here usually keep me on track. If I mess up, they tell me. Okay, I count on you guys to find my mistakes. So, are you ready to hit the ground running? It looks like the students in my class are already hitting the ground running. Okay. What about you, Sherry and Shaniqua? Are you okay?
Yes, ma'am.
Now, Shaniqua, what I'm going to do is go ahead and get this information and send it down with the first person that goes on break. And that way you don't have to wait till 12 o'clock to come and get your
Yes,
stuff.
ma'am.
Okay, right after we get off, somebody's going to go downstairs and they'll take this down. And when you go to the front office, just tell them that it's in my box for you.
Yes. Yes, ma'am.
Okay? I'm glad to see you today, sweetie, and I'm sorry I didn't get you to sign in. So they say in the office, you're actually not my student yet. But when we go back and sign that, then you're my student from back then. So
Okay.
there's not a problem. We just need your signature, okay?
Okay.
They said, what?
What? All this time? Okay, So again, you can stay on if you want, or you can get off and work, or come over here and get your papers, whatever you need to do, okay?
Yes,
But
ma'am.
I'm finished for today.